Being a Sigma isn't the dream most people imagine. In reality, it comes with a series of struggles that no one talks about. From constant misunderstandings to society's pressure to conform, Sigma males walk a path full of unseen obstacles. They don't fit into the usual social hierarchies, often facing criticism and judgment. The independence that defines them is also their greatest challenge, forcing them to confront life's hardships alone. While it may look like they have it all together on the outside, here are 7 real struggles Sigma males deal with every day. Number 1. Being unfairly judged or labeled based on assumptions. When people don't know someone, they're quick to rely on assumptions that frequently cloud reality. It's like when you see a book with a plain cover, and you guess it's boring without even reading the first page. People often make snap judgments about Sigma men without trying to understand who they really are or where they come from. They might think Sigmas are too quiet, shy, or even unfriendly, all because they're not as outgoing as others. This problem happens because Sigma men prefer to stay out of the spotlight. They don't mind spending time alone or doing things their own way. They don't follow the crowd or seek lots of attention, so others may mistakenly see them as distant or antisocial. Imagine having to explain yourself again and again because people don't take the time to get to know the real you. Even in school or at work, this can be hard for Sigma males. Teachers or bosses might assume they're not interested or not trying hard enough since they don't raise their hand or jump into every conversation. Friends might think these men may hide something or are too good for them when they don't open up as quickly as others. Everyone judges, but Sigma men have to deal with misjudgment way more often. They are often deep thinkers and observers. They see and hear so much, noticing details others might miss. This careful nature can be mistaken for being slow to react or overly serious. The truth is, they're just taking everything in to understand it better. It's like being an artist who's always watching, so they can paint a clearer picture of the world. Society is structured in a way that doesn't favor Sigma men. Even from a young age, they are forced to rely on themselves and figure things out alone. They're not used to asking for help or depending on others, which makes it even more challenging when they encounter struggles in life. Yet this is precisely what has made them so strong, capable, and independent. Unfortunately, people can't see the full picture and instead judge and label based on what they think they see, filling in the blanks with their own assumptions. Number 2. It's hard to trust when everyone talks fake. If you're a Sigma, trusting others can feel like walking a tightrope in the middle of a storm. It's already tough, but the wild winds of fake talk make it even harder. You hear promises and compliments all the time, but deep down, you know they're not real. You often find yourself surrounded by people who say one thing but mean another. Sigma males are simple in their hearts and prefer honesty above everything else. But when people have hidden motives or say things just to please others, it becomes tough to know if anyone is being real. Trust for a Sigma is like a precious gem that is hard to find. They want to believe what others say, but it's tricky when words don't match actions. This struggle gets bigger at work. You might see someone smiling and being nice, but later on, you realize they're just pretending. Sigma men have keen instincts and can often sense when something isn't genuine. It feels like being a detective in a mystery story, always questioning, always trying to find out who is being true. This makes it really tough to make close friends. They don't want to waste time on people who aren't real. It's not about being picky, it's about wanting to surround themselves with people who mean what they say. When everyone around you talks in a fake way, it gets lonely. It's like living in a house full of mirrors, where it's hard to see what's behind the reflections. That's why many Sigma men get tired of looking for friends and decide to be their own best friend, at least for a while. They would rather have no friends than fake ones. This might sound sad, but it's really not. It's a choice they make to protect themselves, their values, and their peace of mind. Number 3. Unintentionally intimidating others. While Sigma men may not intentionally try to intimidate others, it can happen simply because of their personality. It's like when you're just sitting quietly at a table, but others feel nervous because of your presence. Sometimes, Sigma men don't even realize that they're intimidating others. They are often independent, confident, and have strong opinions, which can be seen as threatening by those who are more reserved or less assertive. This can create a barrier between these men and others, especially in the workplace. People may be afraid to approach them or share their thoughts, thinking they will be shut down or dismissed. But this is not Sigma men's intention at all. They just want to be themselves and express their ideas without sugarcoating or hiding behind false pretenses, and that's exactly why they can be intimidating to others. They are unapologetically themselves, which is both a strength and a challenge. They don't talk a lot, but when they do, they speak with certainty. Another big reason why Sigma men come off as intimidating is because they don't easily open up. They are like a closed book, and people struggle to figure out what's inside. Sometimes, when people don't know much about someone, they make up stories that are far scarier than the truth. So others might imagine these men are unkind or unapproachable. It's like judging a book by its cover instead of actually reading it. In reality, Sigma men are just private and reserved, not cold or unfeeling. They just need time to open up and trust someone before showing their true selves. But once they do, they can be some of the most loyal and caring friends anyone could ask for. It's just a matter of breaking through that initial barrier and getting to know them on a deeper level. Number 4. Constant overthinking and perfectionism. Being a Sigma often means that your mind never stops thinking. You are always trying to make everything perfect, which can be a heavy load to carry. Imagine always looking for ways to improve everything, even when others think it's already okay. This constant overthinking starts from small things, like wanting your handwriting to be perfect, to bigger things, like trying to find the perfect job or house. It's like balancing a glass of water on your head. You're always super careful not to spill a drop. Sigma men just want to do the best they can. They are their own biggest critics. Even when things turn out really well, they find little things they could have done better. It's like drawing a picture. Even when it looks beautiful, they see a line that's not quite right. This kind of thinking pushes them to work hard and be the best, but it can also make them tired and stressed. It feels like running a long race without a finish line in sight. This overthinking sometimes makes it hard to make decisions. They worry so much about making the wrong choice that they freeze up, like when you can't decide what to order at a restaurant because everything looks good. They also might take too long to finish tasks because they want every detail to be just right. Imagine writing a birthday message and rewriting it 5 times before sending it because you don't like how it sounds. Even though being a perfectionist has its challenges, it's also what makes Sigma men successful in many ways. However, until then, it's a constant battle to find a balance between striving for perfection and accepting that things will never be completely perfect. It's often said that perfection is the enemy of progress. Number 5. Difficulty finding like-minded individuals. When you're a Sigma, finding friends who think like you can be really tough. Imagine being in a room full of people, but still feeling all alone because you just can't find anyone who gets you. Sigma men often think differently from others, so it's hard to connect. They enjoy deep talks and exploring big ideas. But lots of people like to chat about lighter stuff, like the latest movies or what's trending online. This can make these men feel out of place, maybe even like aliens on their own planet. At work, it gets even trickier. They prefer to keep a low profile and focus on getting things done. They don't usually join the office gossip or after-work happy hours, which makes it hard to bond with coworkers. They also don't like being assigned meaningless tasks or asked to do things just to fill the time. This creates tension since they need a purpose in what they do and are not afraid to speak up if something makes no sense at all. Colleagues might not understand their ideas or why they don't just go with the flow. So they may come across as troublemakers, even if their intentions are good. This not only makes it hard to make friends, but also can create tension and conflict in the workplace. But all they want is to contribute and make things better. While they may be misunderstood, Sigma men are still highly respected by those who would have liked to speak up, but don't have the guts. They usually don't back down from sharing their honest opinions, so people know they can trust them. Number 6. Stubbornly facing problems alone. By nature, Sigma men trust their own judgment and abilities. They believe they can figure out anything if they put their mind to it. While this confidence is admirable, it can also be a bit of a trap. Sometimes, they try to face problems alone without asking for help, striving to prove something to themselves. They don't want to burden others with their issues or to rely on others instead of using their own capabilities. However, this mindset can become a problem when the issue at hand is too big for one person to handle alone. You just need an extra hand to get it off. But for Sigma men, asking for help isn't always their first choice. They push themselves to handle things solo, thinking they have to be strong all the time. It's not that they don't appreciate others' help. They just like to test their own strength. This behavior can leave them feeling stressed and overwhelmed. It's fun at first, but then it gets tricky. And without guidance, you might end up frustrated. However, every superhero needs a sidekick, and even the smartest minds need a fresh perspective sometimes. Opening up and letting others in, even just a little, can lighten the load they're carrying. Number 7. Limited support system. Having a Sigma personality often means walking your own path, which sounds cool but can also be lonely. The problem is, society usually has rules and structures that work well for most people, but not always for Sigma males. For example, schools and workplaces often reward those who speak up and join in. But these men like to work quietly and independently. They're thinkers who enjoy solving problems on their own. It doesn't mean they don't like people. They just have a different way of doing things. Since most systems are set up for the in crowd, Sigma men can find it hard to get the support they need. Friends might not understand them when they choose to skip a party, or a teacher might think they're weird because they don't participate in class as much. These misunderstandings are not intentional, but they can make Sigma men feel like they don't fit in and have a limited support system. However, that doesn't mean they're completely alone. There will always be people who understand their way of thinking and appreciate their unique perspective, but there are fewer of them around. That's why they don't have a large circle of friends, but rather a few close and trusted ones. They prefer quality over quantity in every aspect of life.